Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about expenses, about living in Thailand. So we're going to break down some of the expenses. We're going to talk about rock bottom and what I pay, my wife and I, so we can kind of compare and hopefully you can figure out what is going to be the right amount for you. So let's get started. So first of all, let's just get this out of the way. A lot of people know, what is the rock bottom that someone can live here in Thailand on? Well, we've done a video about this before. So without further ado, I would say with $1,000 or more, you should be able to live here. I didn't say you're going to be able to do a whole lot. You're not going to be able to eat at the fancy restaurants or anything like that with $1,000 a month. But if you are just desperate to get over here and you don't have a lot of money saved, $1,000 a month, you should do just fine and you won't be missing any meals. Just control your entertainment spending and you should be fine. But we're going to break down everything from here. So our first category is going to be housing. So for housing, I would say the lowest you're going to feel comfortable going is about $250 a month. And from that point, just go up depending on your lifestyle. So for $250 a month, you're probably going to end up in an older condo, which isn't a bad thing. A lot of them are really nice and the older ones are very spacious. So just keep that in mind. So as the more you go up in money, of course, the nicer the facility you can stay in. Now, I told you I was going to compare it to what we're paying. My wife and I live in a nice gated community and we live in a one-story house that's 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It's at the end of a cul-de-sac, so it's at the end of a little street. It's really nice, very quiet, and we pay 22,000 baht a month, which is roughly $640 a month. So there you go, from $250 a month on up. That's what you can get for $640 a month. Is a pretty nice place. Now next we're going to talk about electricity bill. The reason I made that one next is because electricity in Thailand isn't necessarily cheap. It's fairly expensive as far as Thailand goes. So I'm going to say if you're one person living on your own and have a decent condo and you use your air conditioner, let's just say half the day, I would say you're probably good at around $30 a month or around 1,000 baht. You should be fine. Now, as for my wife and I, we run our air conditioner 24 hours a day because even when we're not home, we've got 2 dogs at the house and it's always hot in Thailand. So we do have it on all day, all night, and I can give you an idea of what our electricity bill is per month. So ours is around 3,500 baht per month, which is roughly around the $100 mark a month. So just decide how much air conditioner you're going to be using and you can figure out exactly, guesstimate on what your bill would be given those 2 ranges. Now the next category will be water. Water's the cheapest bill. We pay like 100 baht a month, which is like $3. I'm not even going to bother saying any other amount because yeah, it could be lower than that. There's my wife and I, and it's only $3 a month. So don't worry about that bill too much. And if you're in some condos, it's probably included in your rent anyway. Internet. Now they have great internet here in Thailand. And yes, it works like it does in most other countries where when you sign up for internet, you can pick what speeds and everyone has a different cost depending on how fast you want it. So there's 4 tiers at the time I picked with a company called 3BB, and I got the second package. It's around 700 baht per month, which is roughly around $20 a month for internet speed, and the speeds are really good here. You're not going to take a hit. Thailand loves their internet. Speeds are great. Even if you went with the bottom of the line package, your speeds will still be just fine. Next up is phone. So phones here are relatively inexpensive. That's your monthly bill that you're paying for your phone. So for me, I pay 761 baht per month, which is roughly $22. and that's a fairly decent plan. It's 5G. It gives me a lot of data. You can just pick which data you want for the price you're willing to pay, but they do have great phone service here. It's very affordable. This is not going to be a very expensive bill for you, and the coverage around the country, I use AIS, has always been amazing. I could be out in the middle of nowhere, sometimes get a better signal than I can in the middle of a city, so it just all depends. So that isn't going to be too much of a bill for you. By the way, if you are planning on moving here, make sure to check out our step-by-step guide to moving to Thailand. There is a link in the description, and this will basically handhold you from leaving your old life and moving here to Thailand. So the next category is food. So you can divide food up into groceries and eating out. Again, everyone eats different foods, different kinds of foods, different amounts of food. So we're going to do this a very simple way. You're going to eat more than likely 3 times a day. So what we're going to do on an average is we're going to say rock bottom, you're going to spend 60 baht per meal per day. So that should come out to about 180 baht, which in US dollars would come to about $5.50 a day. Again, that's rock bottom. Some days you're probably going to want to splurge on Western food or something like that. The price I'm giving you, 60 baht per meal, is based on you eating Thai food, which is the cheapest food in Thailand, and tasty, I might say. So, and drinking possibly water. So just keep that in mind. So that's going to be the bottom range, and anything from there goes up. Next, we're going to talk about transportation. You're either going to take public transportation, you could possibly walk everywhere depending on where you're living. You can buy a car or buy a motorcycle. So we're not going to get into the specifics of all that. I'm just going to give you 2 things. I'm going to give you what I pay monthly for gas, and I'm going to give you the insurance cost we pay per year, in case you want to incorporate that. If you're coming here and you're like, I definitely want a car, or I definitely want a motorcycle, these will be some numbers that will at least get you in the ballpark as you're figuring out what your expenses will be when you move here to Thailand. So for my motorcycle, I spend 320 baht a month for gas, which is roughly $9.30 a month. So it's really cheap to have a motorcycle. And while we're talking about motorcycles, when you get a motorcycle and you register it and you pay the taxes on there, the government does put mandatory insurance on there. However, I have coverage that goes above and beyond that coverage to cover me, since I am a foreigner here. And I'm going to give you the cost for that insurance for the entire year. This is not going to be monthly. The cost for that is 2,100 baht, which is roughly around 61 US dollars for the year. And that's just advanced coverage to cover all kinds of things that may happen with a motorcycle. I just feel safe using that. Next, we're going to talk about a car. So for gas a month, we spend 2,400 baht a month for gas just for the car. That's roughly 70 US dollars a month. So this is for my wife and I both using the car. So we use the car and the motorcycle quite a bit. So just give you some ballpark figures of what you can put in the budget. Now let's talk about insurance. You're gonna have to have insurance on a car that you pay for. And there's different tiers, tier 3, tier 2, tier 1, tier 1 being the best. I'm gonna give you a tier 2 price for an entire year. We're not going to go into all the coverages and what it covers. This is just to give you a general idea. So we pay 7,300 baht a year for our car insurance, which is roughly $210 for the entire year. Next, we're going to talk about health insurance. Now, some of you may just skip this one and say, I don't want health insurance. Thailand is a very dangerous place. What I mean by dangerous is it's easy to get in an accident, easy to get hurt, just messing around, because safety is not first around here. So I would suggest you at least get a quote on some insurance. Now, again, there's a lot of things that are involved in health insurance, pre-existing conditions, how old you are. So I can only tell you what we are paying. So my wife and I are in our mid-50s, pretty good health, no pre-existing conditions. So let's go over what we pay per year. So just for me, we pay 36,400 baht per year, which is roughly 1,060 US dollars. That's major medical, so it's not, if I need to go to the doctor for something small, doesn't cover it, but it's cheap already. This is if something really major happened, it would cover us in pretty decent facilities, medical facilities. Now we're going to go over some other costs that you may not have thought of. We're not going to give numbers on them, but just keep in mind that everyone is on a different visa staying here in Thailand, and some of them have fees and some of them are more fees than other ones. So make sure you research what visa that you qualify for and find out what fees are involved so you can construct a good and accurate budget. Here's what's going to get you is your entertainment and leisure. So you've got your baht in your hand and it doesn't feel like real money at first, and everything is cheap. So you end up spending more accidentally than you were expecting to pay because everything's so cheap. Well, that's only 20 baht more. I'll get another one. 50 baht more. I'll get another one. And you end up blowing your budget because of your entertainment / leisure fund that you are messing with. So you're really going to have to watch your entertainment budget. So make sure you pad that one fairly well. Also, if you're the person that likes to work out, I can give you kind of a rough estimate on gym costs, depending on how fancy of a gym you go to. So I'm going to give this to you per day because most all of them have per day. And if you do pay per month or a year, it gets cheaper from there. On average, they're anywhere from 70 baht a day to 100 baht a day. So use that as a starting point to figure out your budget. Let's not forget your everyday supplies you're going to need for your household, doing your laundry, cleaning supplies, toilet paper, whatever you're going to need for your house. Again, that's all over the place. Can't really help you with that one. Just make sure you do include some amount, at least I would say 200 US dollars a month for that kind of thing, depending on how big and fancy of a home you're looking to have here in Thailand. And don't forget, when you're living here in Thailand, you're going to want to see Thailand. So every now and then you're going to want to go to different parts of Thailand, whether it be for a weekend or a week. I mean, you're here in Thailand. Let's say you're living up in Chiang Mai where I'm at. Sometimes you want to go to the beach. So do make sure you budget for traveling within the country. So I hope this was helpful. Quick, broad overview on all these things. If you like to give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. We'd love to have you. Don't forget about the step-by-step guide. There's a link down in the description. And if you feel so inclined, buy us a coffee. We would really appreciate it. Again, link down in the description. By the way, I am going to put a link to a spot where you can look at the different housing costs depending on what city you want to move to in Thailand. So look for that link down in the description. That's all I have for right now. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm going to end this by saying thank you in Thai, which is Khap Kun Khap.